SARS on the beat. SARS on the beat. SARS on the beat.
Whoa, you, whoa, you, whoa. Whoa, you, whoa, you, whoa. Reminisce Alaga.
Oya bọ́ sínú mọ́tò, kojú pájú sẹ́ nínú ẹbí kó jẹ́ lóto. Oya mú tóbi kòtò, ìjó tẹjọ́ lórí ìtẹ́sójú ẹ̀wọ̀n ní kòtò.
Hey, what's up? It's your girl Raro Lae with Raro Lae TV, and right now I'm sitting with the hottest host from Cool FM, also TV host from Sound City with the greatest countdown on earth, Dotun. Dotun, how are you?
I'm wonderful, I'm fine, and thank you for having me on your couch. Mine.
I mean, we had to make things work, you know. I gotta come to you guys, make sure I'm chilling in the hotel, you know.
So good. Thank you for coming anyways.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. So, how are you? How has your stay been? First of all, welcome to DC.
A good place. I've been here. It's a place everybody wants to come to in a way because, Nigerians always want to have the babies here, chill here and stuff, I've been a couple of times because my baby was born in Houston here in Nigeria. And, well, for me, it's a great place. DC is, we're here for just one reason. Olamide is cooking up a big show. I felt a lot of guys who came to Nigeria for December. I'm not sure if you were around for the show anyways, but he had a big concert back in Nigeria, and I'm sure they wanted, a lot of guys here in Maryland actually have been asking questions about him coming through, and I think it was just the right time because, it took about two years to get him to come.
Well, how did you even enter the radio industry? What made you decide that that was your passion or your drive?
Well, for me, in life there's always a first love. We have people who actually want to be ballet dancers. We have people who actually want to be weightlifters. But somehow I was more or less a guy who back in school loved to dance. And it was a part of me that started because, I just wanted to do something different. And it was a way to just get out things on my chest off. For example, I'm not happy, I put on music and I dance. And before that, I started my own dance group for a while. It was tagged Extreme, but that was my first love. And, dance got me into being in videos with the bands, videos with DJ Z's, videos with Goldie, a couple of guys like that. And that's where my life started. And before that, I figured that, a lot of guys who to talk to me then. I had a man who taught me in school. I felt I was witty and spontaneous. I wanted me to do something different, and said, you know what, I think you can work on the radio. Sometimes you talk to your friends, and I figured that you've got that, you know how to talk to people. You have a conviction spirit, like you said.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're fine. And that's how I worked it out. And that was the guy who gave my first shot. He was a popular guy in so boss. There's a body that sees advertising and public relations in Nigeria. He was a head then, and he just gave me 3 options. And that's when I got my first radio deal to work as an intern.
Wow.
And that's where it all started. I started worked on the likes of Olisa, Dubois. Watched the likes of Dan Foster, and those were big radio OAPs then. Freeze and Manny. And that's why I kicked off. It took me about 3 years to get my first spot on the radio. And it was crazy because I was the kind of guy, I was shy, but thank God for radio and dance, he conquered every fear I had. I always, one of the things I tell people is, one of my biggest fears then was, I hate when you walk into the studio while I was on the radio. It scares me so much. So every time I have to write stuff on the paper, and I did that for about 2 years. I write it on the paper, when you walk in, I put it in my pocket bag.
Why did you do that? Why'd you do that?
It was, Nigeria it's crude in Nigeria. If you're working on the radio, you have to be that person that, you have to study yourself, do a show prep, yourself, and there is nobody backing you up. It's not, you don't have a producer, you don't have anybody. It's all on you. It's different. Somebody tells you, you have a speech band, you have that. Nigeria is different. You got to be there. You got to be your own control. You have to be your own checks and balances. You have to build all that for yourself. So that's how I kicked up and started. And I conquered my fear. Went on the radio. Moved from a night show. That was actually my big. I had a popular show then called Sleep Talk.
Was that on Cool FM as well?
Yes, so it was.
Okay.
Because I had a lot of guys who were suicidal. I talked to a lot of people, youngsters who were pregnant, and people who were kicked out of the house. People who had depression.
Wow.
And so that's when I kicked up my life on the radio, and that's where I got the biggest fan base I had then. Sprang up, did my weekend sale, I started my weekend show. I brought all the biggest stars because you never used to get the stars to come on the weekend. But I was grounded. I built my relations with a lot of guys, so I get them. And before that kicked off, and I was the first guy who ever did the midday show. And it was a showman for ladies, but I was the first guy who did the midday show, and I've been doing it for over 5 years now.
I have a question because I know with you even saying a lot of celebrities come in and you guys have to play different type of music. Do you ever have any artists that like the song's just it's not hot, so you can't put it on the air and they start to beef you even if it's a popular artist? Has it ever happened with you?
For me, I've the difference with a lot of OEPs. I always say this: you got to put your money where your mouth is. I brag about good music on my show, so I don't put crap on my show.
Right.
Well, will not put it that way because I have to talk to you and tell you this song is not good enough.
Right.
Everybody who knows me will tell you I'm actually one of the most blunt OEPs you ever. But sometimes, you want to have fun with it.
Yeah.
Put the song, as crappy as it might sound, but let people be the judge. You feel me?
Right.
We've
so
blown up. Exactly. Like there was a popular guy then called Vic-O. He was popular, but we put him on the radio because it was fun. We didn't feel a guy could take so much time, pay for a studio session, and do that kind of music.
Wait, I have a question because hold on, is Vic-O actually serious? I thought that was a joke.
No, you can check out his videos on YouTube.
Oh, I've seen them, but I thought so. This was a serious career. He
performed at a show that it was a popular show then that Fabulous performed.
Wow.
Yeah, he was one of the guest stars because then it was shocking to see a guy like that who could, he was like I don't want to call names in the States, but we had some really artists like that. But you'd be shocked like how come?
Right.
But anyways, you put him on it and it was good. And everybody just loved him somehow for the whackness, and put it that way. And but that's when we put kind of music when you have people to judge and think, what do you think? And people will tell you, well, I like him. He might be that crappy. That's only when I put that kind of music on my show.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What are some obstacles you face in the industry?
Well, for me, sometimes it doesn't pay, like they tell you to be real. But that's it for me. We should all say the truth when we have to say it. So, because of factions, people think you're in this faction. Oh, if you say this about this person, you might be blacklisted from these people and all that. So that's one of my challenges actually. But over time for me, I've been able to build the fact that you got to stick to who you are. If they know you for something, you got to stick to it. So there's always been for me. I try as much as possible. Not to let that bother me. So I just go about and do my shows and all that and do what I got to do. I think that's one of the biggest challenges. Like, people don't like the truth. So it's one big challenge I have. But it's all the same. You got to be known for something.
Right.
And then apart from that, the fact is people think that if you're not putting my song on, then maybe you don't like me or you don't love me. But to be honest, you can put everybody on. Okay. Sometimes I wish I could put everybody on. But you just cannot put everybody on. And making people understand that that's the way things are. So, and then, I like, growth. I want to see new cats come into the industry and do something, try to take your spot, I kind of feel a lot of guys just look up to you, look at what you do and think, oh, it's easy. It is not easy.
At all.
It is not easy. So now, for likes of a couple of guys, big cats in the industry when it comes to Radio Nigeria have been trying to put a face to it, work on it. The challenges are just, we getting a lot more recognized without having to try too hard.
Yeah. And I'm glad you even mentioned that because I actually have heard that from quite a few other radio hosts as well as even like different celebrities and artists in the industry. And there is a lot of different politics that go definitely into it, whether it's maybe money sometimes to get tracks on there, or you can't be as opinionated as you want to be, or actually just say the truth like how you were saying, because there is a possibility you could get blacklisted. Well, back to you and specifically in your career, we know you're at Cool FM, you're with Sound City. Have you ever thought of expanding further than that, or any future ventures you might partake in?
Well, a lot of guys did in Nigeria. I hosted one of the biggest shows. People don't even know me. I'm a hype man.
Oh, I didn't.
Apart from me, I look up to like Lil Jon. I'm the only OEP that's got his microphone with his name on it.
Did you just say Lil Jon?
Yeah, The voice is crazy.
I might have to compare. Oh, okay, The Voice. So, okay.
Go on the show tomorrow, you find out then.
All right, I'll
check
see.
out my shows and, you know.
Okay.
The thing is, I built myself as a brand, being a hype man, a host, and MC as well. There's a lot of things I do apart from just doing my radio show and TV show. I host shows for Star. It's big. A lot of states. I hosted the Sound City Blast last year. I hosted Copa Lagos. I hosted a couple of shows, a lot of shows. This is big shows, and the thing is, being a host and being a hype man, are two different things. So I'm a person when it comes to hosting a show and being an MC, I can put all that together. But being a hype man, these days, people don't just want to go to parties, and brands are taking out the fact that, I don't want you to just come and crack jokes, drive the crowd. So if everybody knows me, call me Super Hype Man, a.k.a. you already know. So I have a life outside radio. I'm working on my YouTube page now because I have a lot of gigs and shows I want to put on it.
Yeah.
Straight up. So don't worry, I'm coming for that. So there is a lot. Very soon you start seeing my radio shows online.
Nice.
Like the Breakfast Club, and you can.
Are you gonna do podcasts too?
Yeah, possibly.
Okay.
But I have a guy working on that now. It's what I'm going back to now. We've done that already. We're gonna hook most of my show. You can watch it online because I have a lot of crazy interviews that I want to put out. People say stuff, but people say a lot of stuff on my show. So
and that'll be dope. So then everybody can hear it in case you miss it when it's actually airing the first time.
Exactly.
Okay, so now we're gonna get to the digging deeper on Lae T, I like to call it. So we're gonna ask you a few questions. First and foremost, congratulations on your daughter. I know that was a year ago, so she's about a year now.
Yeah. She's 11 months now.
Okay.
She'll be clocking a year. Next month. She'll be clocking a year next month. That's my life.
Yeah.
Hopefully more to come. It's a good feeling. Family's beautiful.
There's actually a celebrity in the family, which is D'banj. Is it kind of weird being married to D'banj's sister?
Well, not just one. We have two of them.
Oh, you're right.
D'banj and K-Switch.
K-Switch.
My point is, they're like everybody else. Nice guys. Good family, regardless. They're just good guys. Their family. When the family, when the spotlights are on either ways, all of us, we're all in the same industry and we respect our craft a lot. So it's different. He's a great guy. K-Switch is a great guy as well. So they don't even act like superstars to me. The family when they have to be family, and sometimes we all respect our boundaries because I'm working, he's working, they're working. We see ourselves, we talk when we have to sit down and eat on the same table. We do that, but sometimes people they get it twisted. You feel like because he's the band, his that, this did that. Well, they're just like human beings like everybody else. They're not robots, and they do what we all do. So it's just different. And I'm a person. Talking about the brand, I built myself even before. I got in the family. And guess what? Even the first time I met my wife, I heard it was D'banj's younger brother. I didn't want to even do it. Right. Because but at the end of the day. I figured it was even about that, even about my. I'm sure a lot of you guys, you check it out. You probably not even know my wife. Because even before I got married, that's when he knew he had a sister.
Yeah.
Because it's all fame. Sometimes it gets in your head. It ends. Sometimes it's gonna happen to you.
Yeah.
So we just go about our business, do what we got to do, and we're family. That's it.
With your extensive background and musical expertise. I know because you are close to him, because you guys are family, a lot of people have said that it's kind of hard to give him advice, and a lot of people that are in his entourage, they're not really honest about, like, the opinions, like, feedback when he makes music and everything. Do you think that you're able to be honest with him and actually give him some advice pertaining to his career?
You see, he's a good listener. People don't see that. People don't, maybe they might not see it or understand it that way, but he listens to me. Even we talk often, he will not put on music. Sometimes he lets me listen to it. Feeling I hope I could pop that word anyways, but Feeling Nigga was the song we talked about before he put it out, and that's a good song.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was one of the songs that we even spoke about before he even put it out. He listens. It's just that, because sometimes he's sitting in the box because he was in a group that everybody thought it was never going to end. So anything he puts out now might not seem great to some people, but to be honest with you, all the songs he puts out now, if you put it on that record label when it was there, I'm sure a lot of guys would not complain.
Right.
To be honest, so but he speaks to me, he talks to me, he listens. The thing is, sometimes if you're in the shoes, you're famous. You've been to every country. You've seen all kinds of human beings, and in the course of you doing that, you found out people who were not trustworthy. It would be hard for you to trust anybody. It was in a group that everything happened and it thought it was never going to end, and that just suddenly just poof and it was out.
Yeah.
So sometimes he will get to a point that he still have to find his feet before he gets back to that stage, and it's not happening just for him. It's happening for everybody who has been on that record label. Everybody's trying to get and find their feet and doing something for themselves. So for him, he listens to me, and he's not a bad guy.
Yeah.
And, it's just that I always said it. It's never the problem. It was what people started that turned out to be what he is now. But I know in their hearts they'll always be best friends regardless, and he's only be best friends with the people he left.
Right.
They're still going to do music. But you guys got to know him for. We're going to know him based on what we know and based on the music. If you want to judge him based on that, you guys might say, okay, fine, he's still trying to find his feet, he's working hard. But let's be honest. If he put out that song, based on a perception, Nigerians, we're stereotyped. You always want to think this is how it should be.
Yeah.
If it's that way, people will not think, everybody probably loved the songs and all that. So for me, he listens. He asks questions. Sometimes you might have the wrong advices, people around you, because they will not tell you the truth because they want to get something from you.
Yeah.
Understandably, if you're in the shoes, you probably be like that too because it's hard. You've been everywhere. You're a superstar. You've been with Kanye West. You've done songs with Pitbull. You've been to you're a grand superstar that everybody wants to reckon with. So sometimes you might think your advice doesn't even apply because you've seen everything. Yeah. But regardless of what it is, he still asks me for a lot of advice, and I give it to him. That's it.
I see that you're a really honest person, but I also see that you're down to earth and you're calm. Like this whole interview, and even seeing you before we started the interview, you're very calm and down to earth. And this is why maybe it's a little bit surprising to me because I saw something on Twitter where you definitely did put Aduka on blast in defense for Toke, and which I feel it was kind of merited because I don't think the opinions and what she was saying, kind of slandering Toke, I don't think it was necessary. But what made you be like, you know what, enough is enough, I'm going to actually speak out on this?
Well, Toke is somebody who's doing what I'm doing as well. Toke Makinwa is a hard worker. Yeah. Trust me, man. Especially when you're in a country where it's hard for women to survive in an industry like that. I'm sure a lot of you guys want to come back home and do this kind of job, but a lot of the advances you get, and I know that you talking to me right now. People have told you, can you just make this happen? You know what I mean? And
it's hard for us out here.
So for her to be that woman and still trying to work hard, it can't be that bad. We all watch the show. Yeah. Yeah, maybe sometimes, it's something you expect. Like I said, Nigerians expect something, and once they don't see it, it's based on their own perception, and they judge you based on that. Yeah. So for her, I didn't want to say anything about it, but I checked the lady out, talking about somebody's fashion, how she looked, the dress. I'm like, what? Look at what you wore to the show. Yeah. So how can you be a good judge of somebody? Right. I always ask questions. Why do you even have fashion police in the first place? You sit there to castigate other people. Are you better? If somebody like a J-Lo sits down and tell me that you're not looking good, I'll take it. Because every time she kills it. Yeah. If someone like, if it's just the same way you say someone like a Brad Pitt, judging, Brad Pitt judged the guy, an actor, I would take it. Yeah. Because he's been his life and lived his life as a director, as an actor as well. Yeah. So, both ways you can do, but Nigerians are not better judges when it comes to some things. Some people are not good judges. Yeah.
Like Soulja Boy in 2008, his fashion couldn't judge somebody right.
It's just the same way Soulja Boy would talk about hip-hop music. It's good, but you cannot talk about likes of Sito, likes of Talib Kweli, likes of Mos Def. Yeah. What are you talking about? Exactly. But guess what? I like the kid because why? He got to a point that he needed to make money for himself, and he did what was different. Yeah. And he worked for him. But guess what? I cannot judge Soulja Boy. Why? I can have my own opinion, but you need to be constructive.
Yeah.
And that's why I told him, I said, you gotta judge people based on what you know, not but what you've learned in that field. For example, I said about if you read my tweets, they were not.
They were mean. They were like, it was just kind of like basically what you're saying, like, how can you say something about somebody when you're not the best in that field either?
You can have your own opinion, but you're a journalist.
Yeah.
You're not a blogger. Even bloggers you have the chance to say whatever you want to say. But journalists can be bloggers. Bloggers can be journalists. But the thing is, these days you find journalists who are just bloggers that didn't even go to the routine of studying what journalism is, and you judge people and write. It's too much castigating, and this what we call nepotism. People just copy and paste, see stories, and it's crazy. So I don't respect people like that. So for me, that's why I actually said what I said. And people a lot of guys understood me because it was not. I didn't even talk based on what I was talking based on as a journalist at craft. She actually smeared it with a lot of mess.
Yeah.
You don't do that. Yeah. And the fact is, to be honest, it wasn't even about Toke, which is a friend of mine. But we just see and say hi. That's it.
Yeah.
But based on the job, what she did was wrong, and I just I talked to her based on what she was doing wrong.
So thank you so much for tuning in to RLTV with Raro Lae and Dotun. Don't you thank you so much for coming onto the show and being a guest. I've learned so much, and even being in your presence, like, that's what's up. Thank you so much.
I'll take that. Thank you very much, too, and thank you for my first time on your show. It's good. You got to keep doing what you're doing. Sometimes people might tell you it'll never work out. It's just something that you got to just take as a compliment and just keep working. That's it.
And Dotun, real quick, right before we end the show, can you let me know where your fans can reach you? Because your fans, like, I know where I can reach you, but what about your fans, like your website, Instagram, Twitter? Where can they hit you up?
Well, if you want to find me, you could check me at www.coolfm.us. You can check all about me. You want to find me on Instagram, it's DO to the TUN. That's DO, the number 2, DTUN on Instagram. On Twitter, it's at Dotun Cool FM. You can catch me on there. I have a Facebook. I had to go on it anyways. But if you want to hit me up on Facebook, have a fan page on Facebook. It's d.o.t. It's actually just put the DO to the TUN, but the dot in before every letter. So it's easy. But if you want to hit me up on Twitter, you can check the website www.coolfm.us, or you can follow me on Instagram. It's at DO to the TUN, and that's DO number 2 DTUN. That's it.
Thank you so much. You guys heard it from him first. Make sure that you add him on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, his website. Check him out on everything. Thank you so much for tuning in with RLTV.